Welcome to The Explainer. Look, if you've been sitting on an idea, daydreaming about fulfilling those huge CEO dreams while stuck in your 9-to-5 cubicle, but you either have absolutely no idea where to start, or maybe you took that first step and just instantly felt totally overwhelmed, well, you are in exactly the right place. Today, we're breaking down a complete A to Z roadmap for launching a successful business in 2025. We're going to bypass all that confusion and give you the exact playbook used by successful founders. But I got to give you some tough love right out of the gate here. Having passion for your product, that's fantastic, but passion alone is not a business plan. We need a strategy, folks. We need a playbook.
Okay, let's dive into this. We are containing this chaotic journey into 5 really manageable chapters: perfecting your product, mastering business logistics, adopting CEO mentality, marketing and brand positioning, and finally, the ultimate launch strategy.
Chapter 1. Perfecting your product. Validating your idea before spending a dime.
So this is where we cross the threshold from just a simple, passionate idea to a validated reality. Because whether you're selling a physical product, a digital service, or some new software, just loving your own idea, it's not enough. We are all totally biased to love our own brain children, right? But I need you to ask yourself, is there an actual market for it? I mean, do you know how many thousands of people wake up every single day with the exact same brilliant idea as you? I really don't want you to be the person who drops thousands of dollars on a garage literally full of inventory that nobody actually wants to buy. You've got to remove your own bias and look hard at the data before you empty out your savings account.
Let's move to and see how this builds. Here is a foolproof 5-step validation method. First up, your research. Use tools like Google Trends or Facebook groups to see if people are actually searching for this thing. Second, find a gap. Look, you don't have to invent flying cars here. Maybe you just offer a cheaper version or market an existing concept to a completely new audience. Third, get real opinions, and I mean real. Jump onto niche Reddit threads and ask strangers what their pain points are. Because if there is one thing the internet is good at, it's brutal honesty. Fourth, plan for growth. Don't get tunnel vision on just one item. Elaborate yourself too. Think about how this product line can expand down the road. And finally, step 5, test and refine. Hand your sample to friends of friends, people who don't care about hurting your feelings. Demand real feedback, because that feedback, that's going to save you an absolute fortune in bad reviews later.
All right, Chapter 2, Mastering Business Logistics, Gathering the Tools to Go Official.
Once you know your product is absolutely bulletproof, it's time to transform from a hobbyist into an official professional entity. There are some non-negotiable mechanics to setting up shop. You need to officially register your business, say through Companies House in the UK or whatever your local equivalent is, and rigorously check that nobody else has trademarked your brilliant name. But listen, if you take only one thing away from this entire section, make it this: open a dedicated business bank account immediately. The absolute necessity of separating your business costs from your personal expenses literally cannot be overstated. You cannot charge your daily morning matcha or your new gym clothes to the company card. Keeping this clean from day one using an app like Dext or QuickBooks is going to save you from a massive accounting nightmare when tax season rolls around. Next, you need to gather your tactical tools. Ask yourself, how are you shipping? Are you packing boxes on your living room floor, or are you using a warehouse? You're definitely going to need organization software like Notion or Monday.com to track your tasks, and something like Canva to build out your visual brand kit. Now, these aren't just tools. They're basically your digital employees, freeing you up to actually run the business. Crucially, you've got to set up automated email marketing flows with a platform like Klaviyo. Just think about the customer experience for a second. If someone hands over their hard-earned money and they don't immediately get an automated order confirmation and tracking number, you look incredibly unprofessional. Setting these systems up early builds instant trust.
And this brilliantly illustrates how to manage all those tools without completely losing your mind. You need to batch your time. By assigning a specific focus area to each day of the week, you keep yourself in a deep flow state. Think about it. If you try to film TikToks in the morning, crunch your accounting numbers at noon, and then design a website in the evening, your brain is just going to exhaust itself from constantly switching functions. Batching tasks, like making Wednesday your dedicated finance and analytics day, for example, creates this amazing clarity, structure, and just massive efficiency.
Moving on to Chapter 3, Adopting CEO Mentality, Defeating Self-Doubt and Imposter Syndrome.
Now, let's just take a breath for a second, because this right here is where so many brilliant ideas die. Before your website even goes live, you need an identity shift. You are no longer just a side-hustling student or an employee. You have to start seeing yourself as a future 6-figure business owner. And doing that means accepting that done is better than perfect. So the crucial point is, there is no award for being a perfectionist in business. Honestly, so many wildly successful founders look back at their very first product launch and absolutely cringe, and that's actually a good thing. Launching a cringe-first product teaches you vastly more than endless textbook research ever could. The real-world data you get from actual customers interacting with a slightly imperfect product, it's invaluable. You just have to get out of your own way and put it out there.
You also have to really watch how you talk about your business. Stop constantly saying stuff like, "Oh, I'm just a small business, please support me." No, speak your growth into existence. This is where manifestation meets rigorous preparation. You know, the #1 reason small businesses fail isn't actually a lack of sales, it's operational collapse when they actually do go viral. What happens if your business blows up tomorrow? Do you have a backup plan? Have you researched how to hire an assistant? Do you even know what an employment contract looks like? You absolutely must build your mindset and your systems today as if your business exploding tomorrow. All right, Chapter 4, Marketing and Brand Positioning. Finding your vibe and your audience.
Shifting gears into battle strategy here. Look, here's a tough pill to swallow. Having the absolute best, most perfectly engineered product in the world means absolutely nothing if nobody knows how to find it. You have to get intimately familiar with the mind of your ideal customer. I mean, you need to elaborate deeply on their profile. How old are they? Are they married? Do they have kids? Do they grab a $7 matcha on their way to a strict corporate job? Or are they a Gen Z college student? What specific pain points are keeping them up at night? Knowing these tiny, hyper-specific details allows you to tailor your tone perfectly. If your target audience is Gen Z, well, you're going to be on TikTok, using casual language, maybe integrating some memes. But if they're corporate executives, your tone on LinkedIn needs to be entirely different.
Creating that identity requires deep contrast. Knowing your vibe is essential. But you know what? Actually, scratch that. Knowing what you aggressively want to avoid is a superpower. Knowing the specific associations, aesthetic choices, or tones of voice that you want to steer clear of is just as crucial as knowing your desired vibe. Like, if you want to be seen as premium and calming, then you know immediately that loud, chaotic, neon-heavy marketing is strictly off-limits. This contrast is exactly what keeps your messaging so sharply focused.
And when you do deliver that messaging, remember this golden rule. Provide value over selling products. Act like a resource, not a billboard. Because if you're just a digital catalog constantly screaming, "Buy this," people are going to scroll past you in a millisecond. Seriously, nobody likes to be constantly sold to. Instead, give away free value. Entertain them, offer some industry analysis, or tell a really compelling story. If you build a community first, the commerce will naturally follow, as that community converts into eager paying customers.
Which brings us to Chapter 5, the ultimate launch strategy. Passing the ultimate test.
Okay, it's finally time to bring your baby out into the world. But we aren't just crossing our fingers and hoping for the best here. We are executing a precise, calculated go-to-market plan. As you'll see, a successful launch isn't just a single button you press on a random Tuesday afternoon. It's a sustained 3-part strategy: pre-launch, the launch day itself, and the heavily overlooked post-launch phase.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is it highlights the biggest beginner mistake out there: launching in secret. Working quietly in the dark for months and then suddenly announcing, "Hey guys, we're live," and then, to absolutely nobody's surprise, hearing nothing but crickets. You need to take people on the behind-the-scenes, messy journey of building the business before it even exists. Show the highs, show the manufacturing failures. Documenting this process builds an emotionally invested audience, allowing you to capture emails for a waitlist so that on day 1, you already have a warm crowd just waiting to buy.
Then comes the big one, launch day. This is all about mechanical perfection. Before you send a single drop of traffic to your site, you must act as your own customer. Go in, personally add an item to the cart, check out, and then stare at your inbox in a mild panic until that confirmation email arrives, just to make sure the tech actually works. Offer a launch day incentive, maybe something like 10% off, to create a sense of urgency. And above all, be present. When those first sales and comments start rolling in, engage with them live to build that momentum.
Finally, we hit the post-launch phase. And look, here's a harsh truth. People are fundamentally selfish. They aren't buying your product just to support your dreams. You must relentlessly elaborate on how your product benefits them. You have to constantly fill that information gap. Send those abandoned cart emails. I mean, these are literally recovering money you just left sitting on the table. Look at the data to start shaping your paid ad strategy. And immediately send out Google Forms surveys to your very first buyers. You absolutely need that feedback for your next product iteration.
We have mapped out the entire playbook today, all the way from validating a tiny idea to mapping out a professional, automated, multi-stage launch. But here's the final, kind of uncomfortable question you have to answer right now. What is the true cost of doing nothing? If you wake up 365 days from now, and this is still just a scribbled idea on a notepad, what will that regret cost you? The playbook is in your hands now. It's time to find out what happens when you actually use it. Thank you so much for joining this explainer, and we'll see you next time.